I'm going to try to show a little bit about using the sliding pentatonics. I'm going to just use what I call form 512, which starts on form 5 down here, and we're in A minor. Right, so that's taken from form 5, which is this. Right. Then we're going to hit that note again on the 5th fret and slide it into the into form 1, which is this. And we're going to cover the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings of form 1. Then when we get to this note in form 1, we're going to hit it again and slide it. I changed to my 2nd finger there too, by the way, right there. So instead of 3rd, if I'm going to slide up, I usually switch to my 2nd. That prepares me for this position here. This little pentagon shape, 5-note figure there, little pocket. So again, we hit that note on the way up again and slide it into this area. And this area here is the upper area of form 2. So that area we're just using different fingers. Alright, so that's why I call this form 5, 1, 2. Alright, all the way up and down. Oh, and by the way, I slide with the 3rd finger heading up and with the 1st finger to head down. And we can talk more about that in a minute. But so we got 1st, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, slide with the 3rd, and I hit it again to slide. 1st, 3rd, 1st. I'm going to substitute 2nd. Slide. It's a little too far there. 2. Slide. All right. Then 1, 3, 1, 3 are right there. If you use that 2 to substitute, you're right in the shape you need to do the. I just like that instead of hitting the 3rd and then having to get the 1st up there. I just like to be in that with the 2nd right off the bat there. So we slid with the 2nd. On the way down, I slide with the lower finger number, which is the 1st finger. So we're going to go 3, 1, 3, 1, 2 with the 2nd. Stretch a little bit to the 1st on the 7th fret, 3rd string. Hit it again for the slide down to the 5th fret. Then 3, 1, 3, 1. Hit it again there on the 5th fret of the 5th string to slide down with the 1st finger to the 3rd fret. That's the ending of it. So here is the whole scale. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's how I'm negotiating those slides in there. Now what I'm going to do is jam a little bit and show some things that you can do with the sliding form. Basically it's using the feel and the chord feel and the basic vamp for Gary Clark Jr.'s Bright Lights. It's kind of this Now, I'm not trying to do it exactly like he does. I'm just using it as a pattern to improvise over. So let me record that as a loop. I'm going to do it at 80 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that'll be okay. So I'm using an A minor chord for the, and then one more time on the A minor, then a quick D major 5-string bar form. And I often use my, instead of doing the minor chords like this, instead of using 2 fingers, I often use 1 fingertip, the 3rd finger kind of in between the strings to do the minor chord. So instead of that on those notes, I'm just doing that, and the 4th finger's not on there. That allows me to a little more easily to get the bar chord for the D. So we have. So even though it looks like I might be doing an A minor 7, I'm really trying to cover up the fifth and fourth strings with my third finger. So I get, and then just kind of roll it over to the D major chord. Trying not to hit the first string on that. Okay, so that's basically the rhythm idea. And the pattern is kind of like hitting the upper strings for beat 1, and then the and, I'm hitting the lower strings. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then the, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and the and of 4 is the D chord shape, the collapse over with the third finger. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now when I hit the, I'm doing some lifting, right, to mute, not to mute, to deaden the strings once I get done with it. So I get that instead of. So instead of that ringy sound, we're getting these cuts by lifting the hand a little bit. And on the lower one, I'm leaving that down. So it's like lift there, then leaving that down on that one until I hit that again. And as soon as I hit the upper strings again, you lift off again. So it's like. Okay. I'm going to put on that loop I did for that, and I'll play through the sliding form and show you what it sounds like just going up and down the sliding form. Turn that down a little bit. I don't need my metronome. Just straight up and down the scale would be this, and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so something cool that happens with this sliding form is that when you're in the minor like this, I'm in A minor, right? When I do the slide, I'm actually sliding from the fourth in relation to the A to the fifth, right? So I'm sliding into an important chord tone, the fifth, right? So it starts to sound like you're intentionally landing on chord tones just by virtue of using the sliding form, right? So we have. So it's also a good place to pause, right? So. And then the same thing happens with the upper slide. In each case, you're sliding from the fourth to the fifth, right? So if I put that on. Listen to me pausing at those fifths. Here we go. Places to, as you're pausing, good place to put a little vibrato, something like that. All right, and I'm not going to talk too much about technique things right now, but the vibrato is that nice rocking rock blues vibrato like that, not wiggling the string up and down. It's another way to do it, but it's not what I'm using here. We're doing this nice rocking motion. You got a thumb contact here, contact of the base of the index finger here, and then you're getting that fanning away kind of pivoting motion there. So this is kind of like your fulcrum, and you're doing that. All right. Same thing when we get to the upper one. When you're there, that same idea. You got your thumb here, base of the index finger here, and we're rocking away like that, fanning away, pivoting away from the with the fulcrum, right? So. Okay, so using these sliding forms on the way up, you're kind of sliding into it is emphasizing that fifth. Okay, so it's kind of like built-in chord tone emphasis. All right, with this, again, it's that fifth. All right, now another good place to stop is right above the fifth. Above, it's the higher string, so both on the 7th fret. That's your root. So hitting your fifth, you can use that in the pentatonic to get to it, and then end up on the root. So you can pause on your fifth from the slide, right? And then pause again on your root. Then you can continue the scale. That's your fifth again, I slid into, and then again, that's our root. So listen to me use the fifths and roots a little bit as my kind of like home base stopping points. Pause. Another good place to pause. The root. Fifth. So the fifth was here, good place to pause. And the root here is a good place to pause. So here's just some playing around with this. Start on the root. Okay, on the slide downs, another good built-in functional thing that happens here, when we're sliding down, there's my fifth. I hit the fourth with my first finger, but I slide down to the minor third. That's the flatted 3 in relation to your A note. So again, it's a chord tone. It's a built-in great place to pause and stop. You're outlining the chord with your fifths and your flat thirds that you're sliding to. And by sliding to them, it gives them an emphasis. Let me just do those 2 notes. And then the roots here. Root there, fifth, sliding into the minor third. Same thing happens down here. That's the minor third again. Root, fifth, fourth, into the third. So we're using the fourth as our sliding from note, all right? So we're on the 4th degree here, but we're not hanging out there. We're just going to slide right into that fifth. And the same thing on the way down, it's the 4th, but we're not going to hang out on the 4th. We're just going to slide right into that flat third, right? So here's a little bit of putting all that together. again, I'm not pausing on those every single time. Once you slide, you can keep going. But once you slide, just be aware, if you're using this form, like I said, there's like these ready-made chord tones in there. And I chose this this particular vamp too because it just basically stays in the A minor. It goes to that D real quick there. I mean, it's not like you're going to say, oh, what notes are in the D chord so I can add those, because it's just there and for a half a beat or an eighth note value, and then it's gone. So I'm not really paying attention to that. Plus, I just wanted to focus on the A minors that you would be using for this, so the A roots and the fifths in relation to the A, and the minor thirds, the flat thirds in relation to the A notes. That's all I wanted to cover with this for now. So hopefully that gives you something to work with. I'm going to put this vamp on in the background a little bit here, just so you can try playing to this if you want to. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'll let it go for about a minute or something. Loop's not looping 100% perfect. Pretty close. The skip's bothering me more and more. Here's the skip. Just jumps in it a little bit. All right, but hopefully you can play to that a little bit and using some of the ideas I just gave. And that's it. Basically, I would call that using the sliding form 5-1-2. Again, going from form 5 to form 1 to form 2 of the minor pentatonics, using the slides the way I showed them, emphasizing sliding into your fifths on the way up and sliding into your flat thirds on the way down, again in relation to the key of the A minor chords we're doing. Okay, have fun.